Hi guys, welcome back to my humble workshop. I've just finished painting this old Soviet era guitar. It's made in German Democratic Republic, East Germany. The guitar was badly crashed. Here there was a hole, as well as here. Some piece of its headstock was chipped off. I restored it. Now you can see what the guitar looks like now. I think it's nice. Upon painting it with a stain, I covered it in a coat of flat clear finish. I like its look and feel. It feels like you hold in your hands something really precious, very old, but in very good condition, with no cracks, nothing that would repel you. And today I'm going to finish restoration this guitar. I will make a new saddle and a new knot. I'll show you how to adjust action, uh, which moments to pay attention to when making a knot and the saddle. Then I'll install a new set of tuning pegs and string the guitar. There was one trouble when I was painting this guitar. I want to warn you against doing this. Look at this material. It's kind of soft, white plastic. It's kind of a foam structure. And what I did, I painted its front part and then put an old saddle in here and turned it, put in this material, made sure it wasn't touching the soundboard. There was a gap here, and then painted its back part and its sides. And then the next day, when I came to my workshop, I took the guitar and found that this white material was glued to the soundboard. And of course, I had to sand the spots and then paint it once again. This varnish that I put in the guitar, it's essentially consists of two fractions, solid hard fraction and something that evaporates, solvent. And when it started to evaporate, it got absorbed into this plastic. The plastic started to warp. There appeared some kind of blisters, and in this part, it touched my soundboard, which caused this problem. So next time I'll be sure I don't use this material to put my freshly painted guitar onto. So let's start with a knot. Essentially, our knot is a fret. Look, here we have a fretboard, frets, and this is our knot. And here is a gap where you put the string. This is a string. And the idea is when you press the string here on the first fret, there is a gap between the next fret, the second one, and the string. And here, let's assume that this is a fret, and the string is pressed to the fret here. It's always pressed. So when you put a ruler here, it's a straight line. But there is one problem that might appear when you have it exactly the same height that all other frets. When you press the strings somewhere here, it lies on the fret's top part, and this part of the string might resonate with another note you play. It starts vibrating, and you can hear this buzzing sound when it touches the frets. So it's better to make it a little bit higher. In this case, it will go at an angle like here, but the other way, like this. But when you make it too high, it's very hard for your left hand to press the strings. So there should be like a compromise here. I usually make it almost the same height than the frets, because usually guitar necks, they're not made of concrete or steel. It's wood, and even hard wood bends a little bit under strings tension. And that's why here we will never have a straight line. We will have kind of a bow. And in this case, when your string is pressed to one of the frets, its back part won't touch the other frets. But just to be on the safe side, I make this gap like 0.2 of a millimeter higher than the first fret. In some guitars, there is a different construction. We have the same fret here, like the others. It's called 0 fret, like the first fret, the second, and then we have a knot. Its only function is to keep the distance between the strings the same and constant. Well, the next question is what material to use for making a knot. Here I have wooden knots, plastic knots, or a knot made of bone. Some people would say it should be made of bone or very hard plastic because it affects the guitar's sound. Yes, it does, but it affects its sound only when you play an open string. Whenever you press the string on one of the frets, our knot stops affecting the sound quality. What really matters about its material, when you tune your guitar, strings, especially bass strings, work like a saw. They go back and forth, back and forth. And with time, the string will cut this lower and lower. And when it's cut down too much, you will hear a buzzing sound when playing an open string. So for that matter, it's very important to have our knot made of hard, durable material. I think wooden knots are not a good idea unless it's very hard wood like ebony or something. I use bone for quite expensive guitars, handmade guitars, but for this one, this guitar is made of plywood. I'll use plastic. You can buy such a nut, and then you need only to adjust it. But when buying a nut, when choosing it, you have to pay attention. It has proper parameters. For example, this one is for an acoustic guitar, and it's too narrow for this classical guitar. If it's a little bit wider, you can cut off its edges a little bit, but you should pay attention to what is the distance from the first string and the sixth string to the edges of your soundboard. Uh, they shouldn't be, the strings shouldn't be too close to the edges, because when you press the string to a fret, you are at risk of pulling it off the fretboard. So here I'll show you. Here. Sometimes, even though we have two frets that are the same width, the distance between the strings is different. Look. And for this particular guitar, I will use this one because the strings here are closer to each other. Also, I want to show you what to do if your note is too low. I use masking tape for this purpose. I put it like this, then another layer, for it's very thin. You can adjust the height of your nut in a very precise way. So like this, and then I'll cut off the rest. So that's it. You have neat looking nuts, then you can put into a guitar. Now I don't need this. I'll measure how much I need to cut off. Let's now take a fine file. So let's see what we have now. To check it, I'll use this piece of paper. It's something in between paper and cardboard. It's approximately 2/10 of a millimeter. Yeah, one and a half, this. So, and let's see if we can put it. I put my ruler into the slot and see if my paper can get under it. Almost. It feels like it's not parallel. We have kind of a wedge here. Let's see if it's straight. Yeah. I'll use this fine file. And also make sure you've removed all pieces of old glue from here. You may also pull the ruler and try to hear this clanging sound when it drops onto the first fret. Hop, 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 hop. Nice. I don't know. Make it smooth. Remove all the dirt from here. Let's now adjust its width. Some sharp edges. I'll cut off a little bit more on the side of the sixth string. Feels like almost. Let me check it with my bare skin. Yes, nice. Maybe a little bit more here. Done. Some guitarists would say you should make these slots deeper. But as I said before, I'm afraid of this buzzing sound when this back part of the string touches the frets. So I prefer this way. It's a little bit harder to press strings, but not very hard. When you buy a new guitar in a shop, usually it's not as higher than I've made here. Now that we've adjusted the nut, let's make it smooth with fine sandpaper. Now we may glue it. Well, that's it. Some people would mistakenly work with the nut to adjust action. Actually, it's not used for this purpose. And when you need to adjust action, you have to correct the height of your saddle. That is what I'm going to proceed to do now. As for saddles, the material it's made of does affect the sound quality. So it's very important that it's made of either bone or hard plastic, and there shouldn't be anything under it, like I showed with the nut using masking tape. I will never use it here. Sometimes you may put something under it, but it should be like a piece of ebony or hard rosewood. Let's see what is the gaps. Width 2 and 4. 24. Nice. The saddle should sit tight in its slot, but it shouldn't be too tight because when you push it into the slot, you may crack your bridge. So make sure it's not very thick. Look, the sixth string is a little bit higher than the first one. It's all right. It should be this way. It seems all right. It's interesting that this guitar has very special machine heads. Here it's modern machine heads with the distance between the rollers 70 millimeters. An old Soviet standard is 80, but here it's 75. Since its old machine heads are broken, I decided to make a set of new ones. I actually bought machine heads like this, cut them in pieces, and now I'll put every part separately. It will look like this with a small gap between them. It will look then something like this. I usually lubricate string rollers with soap. When you put liquid oil into the hole, it will then swell and press the roller in it. So I only use soap for this purpose. Actually, in this guitar you can use nothing because the holes are bigger than the rollers. But anyway. And also, let's now drill a hole. And also, to avoid cracking the headstock, I use some soap here. I put it onto the screw. Here there is an old hole, and it's too big for the screw I'm going to use. I'll take a toothpick, put it in there, some glue. So now we can try. Oh. I drill one hole at a time to be able to correct the position of tuning pegs. Here is what we have. Let's now work on the other side. So guys, the guitar is finished. I just put on the strings and now wipe it and show it to you what we have now. So what type of work I had to do with this guitar? There were holes here and somewhere here. Its bridge was torn off. Old frets were used too much and the fretboard wasn't straight. There was chipped off a piece of headstock. So what I did, I straightened the fretboard, put on a new set of frets, repaired this or this, I don't remember where, or here you can see the spot. Repaired its headstock, put on a new set of machine heads. I made a new nut, a new saddle. I repaired two braces inside the guitar. I had to open it. And then I closed the guitar, covered the holes, painted it. Write in the comment section if you like the way it looks like now. And now the guitar is ready to be played. It's Meister Hermann Schaller, German Democratic Republic, 1968. So, well guys, that is it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video and the whole project. I have many videos about this guitar. The last one will be when I'm playing the guitar. But for now, that's it. Write in the comment section what you think about this, and take care guys. Bye bye. See you later.